How do you learn who you really are? It's not found in books. It's found on the battlefield. What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to the Battlefield of the Mind with the Warriors Way mindset. I'm here today with the number 26 at the moment. This is liable to change soon. Wait, what did the number change
27.
to? Oh, you went to 27 because of the injury? Huge change. 27,
Yep.
Strongest man in the world right now, Perry Redmon. So let's just face it, being in the top 100 in the world for anything is badass, but being in the top 30, pretty amazing, dude. So Perry Redmon, give people a little bit of like, who the heck is this 27 strongest man in the world? Who is this guy?
Well, to just put it simply, I'm a father first before I do anything. I got a beautiful 6-year-old little tornado that likes to run around and terrorize my life in the best ways possible. I got into Strongman in 2019. It's one of those deals that immediately I ran into some trials and tribulations with that. I tore my ACL in my first ever contest, but I fell in love with it. I found a home in the Strongman community, and so now I had knee surgery. 9 months later, came back, took third in my next contest, and I've pretty well hit the ground running ever since. This last year at Static Monsters Worldwide, there was 423 competitors around the world, and I ended up getting number 27th in the world with my deadlift and my log press. And I mean that's pretty well. That's as far as achievements go. That's probably the one I'm the most proud of, other than teaching my son that if you have a dream, you put it in the work. You can achieve anything you want to. So that's probably my pride and joy right there. I'm looking here about 6 weeks. I'm looking to improve on that. At Static Monsters 2023, I'm going to try to break into the top 10 and get an invite to the world competition. That's me in a nutshell, man. I take care of my kid and I stay busy.
No, it's good, man. It's pretty awesome. And breaking into the top 10, we'll be cheering you all the way, man, because I know that I'm actually excited because I'm going to be at this next competition in October. So I'll be there cheering you on, bro. Like, very, very excited for you. Now, you've got a huge journey that you've been going through in order to get here. Let's start off with the basics, though. Some people don't know the difference between strongman and bodybuilding. Like, what's the difference? So if people were like, what's the difference?
Bodybuilding is more about aesthetics. It's more about how you look. It's more about muscle tone and being shredded, being big and shredded. Then you get over into like powerlifting and strongman. We can actually eat tacos and pizza if we want to. Bodybuilders don't get that luxury.
No tacos, no pizza for the bodybuilders.
No, bodybuilders they gotta keep their diet on point pretty well 24/7. Bodybuilders, strongmen and powerlifters. There's some pretty shredded out there, but we tend to walk around a little fluffier. But powerlifting is the big three. You got bench press, squat, and deadlift. Strongman, we deadlift cars, we pull big semi trucks, we do Atlas stones, log press. It's basically just whatever random stuff we can get our hands on and put it over our head or pick it up. That's what strongmen like to do. And that's a strongman in a nutshell. There's events where you're dragging a boat anchor for 50 meters or something. And so you can do it the fastest, stuff like that. That's pretty well the difference.
That's pretty awesome.
I walk around on a regular basis, and there's actually a house here in the town that I live in. They got concrete spheres in their front yard. And I just want to go over and start picking them up randomly every time I drive past that house.
Just be the one who moves them when they had to have like a company put them there. And now they're just randomly moving. They're like, this is impossible.
They're just ending up in different spots around there. I'm not even stealing them, just moving them around there.
I think it's an awesome idea. Looking forward to that. So send pictures when you start doing it, but then we'll let them know. All right. So let's talk about
like evidence, man.
You're right. Well, listen, we're going to let them in on it. We'll put them back. So
fair enough.
So let's talk about what has been going on in this journey for you. Well, because I've known you now it's been a year now, right? We've come up on a year. Mm-hmm. And it's been a pretty exciting year for us being together. I want to hear about like what this journey has been like for you and like some of this like evolution, not just physically, because you've had some major breakthroughs with the workouts and stuff that you're doing, because you're going for world record stuff and you're going for big lifts and going for top 10. This is big achievements. But also I want to hear about that mindset stuff, the stuff that you've been working on for yourself. And so jump in on any part of your journey that you're probably the most proud of in the last year.
I'll tell you what, the ability, and I attribute this 100% to the Warriors Way going through the program, the ability to be able to enjoy a moment in the moment versus looking back on it as a memory and wishing I would have enjoyed it as it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Just being more present. I'd say honestly, as far as the Warriors Way, that's my top thing, because we opened his line, or my son wants to play this card game, or my son wants to go do this, that, or the other, or doing as well as I did at Static Monsters last year, improving from being in the 60s to the 20s, being in the 27th, being top 30. You know, being able to enjoy that stuff in the moment is pretty cool, because when I got into this, man, I was riddled with anxiety. I was controlled by fear. I had serious anger issues because I didn't know how to articulate how I was feeling in a positive way. You know, I mean, you were there. I almost didn't go to Static Monsters last year at all because I was just riddled with anxiety. You know, you were sick as a dog, but you hopped on a call with me for 2 hours just to make sure that I got to Static Monsters because you believed in me in that moment when I didn't believe in myself. You know, and you got guys like Phil that drove all the way from Chicago to St. Louis, Missouri to just support me because he knew I needed that. You know, I mean, it's one of those things that we've managed to kill those demons, managed to slay those dragons to where now I believe in myself. I walk into a show, whether I win, lose, or draw, I walk in, I know I'm going to give it everything I got. I'm going to bust my ass, and if you're going to beat me, I'm going to make you work for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And before, I didn't have that. I didn't have that confidence in myself and my own abilities. And now, you know, it doesn't matter the outcome. I know that if I leave everything I got out there, I got nothing. I didn't lose. I may not have won on the podium, but I learned, you know? My last show that I did in March, it was a pro-level show. I tore both of my calves, you know? In the first event at that. I had trained for 12 weeks for that. And honestly, without the Warriors Way, I think that it broke me because in that moment, I had the ability to sit back and be like, all right, you know, I'm injured. We'll let it heal. We'll come back strong. Everything will be fine, you know? And Phil, again, Dr. Phil was there. You know, Phil was there. I was sitting in the hallway with tears in my eyes because I couldn't believe I tore my calves on a 765-pound squat that I had hit in training, you know? And Phil put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "You got this, P." I was like, you know what? You're right. I do got this, you know? And I went back and competed the rest of the show. I didn't do very well, but I didn't quit. You know, and that's one of the things that I try to, the reason I still do what I'm doing is I got a 6-year-old that's watching me, you know? And if he sees his dad quit, then what's he going to do? He's going to emulate what I do, you know, whether or not he wants to be in Strongman or whether or not he wants to be the world's greatest chess player. I don't care what he wants to do, but if he sees his dad quit, then, you know, he's going to think that that's okay, and it's not. I heard something today that, sorry if I'm getting off on a tangent, but I heard something today is like anything you do, you're going to have naysayers. Anything you do, you're going to have people that say you can't do it. They're going to try to bring you down. They're going to try to pull you down to their level because they've already given up. And the worst thing that I can imagine happening is in 10 years, them telling me, see, if I quit, them telling me, see, I told you you couldn't do it. Absolutely not, you know? So come hell or high water, I'm not quitting. If I get injured or I lose a contest, it's just a rebuilding phase. We know what I need to work on, you know? And without this program, I wouldn't be able to have that ability to even just be aware that was an option, you know? I was so stuck in the doom and gloom that like I couldn't see it, you know? So like my mindset is completely different in 1 year of just working with you and the guys and being in this environment compared to what it was. I have control of my mind now, which is great.
Yeah, dude, super proud of you, man. Those are some big events and some big moments where, like you said, it would have broken you over a year ago, or even I remember I was like I had the flu or something. I was fighting something hard, and I was like I got to be there for Perry, and we got up at like 5 a.m, and we had a big group of guys on there with you, and each of us is like, "You got this, bro. We believe in you." And that's when you jumped from you were close to like 70. And you jumped into the 20s. Like that was a huge jump for you. And it was cool to be there, like just to watch you like go for it and like actually tap into what your potential is instead of what you believed it was. And it's very cool to watch you evolve over this last year, especially with fear, man, and doubt. I remember doubt was kicking your ass, dude.
Yep.
And I remember us going into
100%.
battle together, going, "Let's beat doubt up. Let's go ahead. Let's fight back." I gotta ask
Yep.
you, dude. How much does doubt destroy you these days? Now that you know how he fights,
It doesn't. To say that it doesn't rear its face on occasion
he always
would
shows
be a
up.
lie.
Yeah.
But like we say in the program all the time, those are just opportunities to practice, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And my awareness is high enough. Whenever doubt starts creeping in, man, it's and mom, if you listen to this, I'm sorry for this, but it's an immediate fuck you. I'm not listening to doubt. You know, you have no place in my life. So to say that that it doesn't come up would be a lie, but I know how to handle it now. You know, it doesn't.
He shows up at every event. Doubt shows up. Doubt's loyal. He shows up at everything.
You know,
He just tries to make you quit everything too.
well, doubt doesn't get you anywhere. Like you were talking about what I perceived my potential was versus what my actual potential was. You know, doubt was the one that was telling me that I couldn't do it. I didn't belong there. You know, and now I'm looking at. I truly believe that I'm a top 10 competitor at Static Monsters this year. With deadlift and with deadlift and log press, I believe that I am one of the best in the world. And I'm going to prove it.
Mm-hmm. Man, so, I'm excited.
There is no doubt there at all.
Yeah, he had you almost quitting events, and now you're like, get out of here. You're not in my way anymore.
It's funny now.
Mm-hmm.
I look back on it a year ago, and all I can do is laugh. You know, I look back on it. It's just like I had no control over the negative self-talk. I had no control over the thoughts that I let come through my mind, and then thus I put it out in the world too. You know, you think about something long enough, you make it a reality. You know, so to have gained control over my own mind and not be trapped in the cell that was my mind and the negativity that was where I was. I drive a trash truck by day for a living, and the cab of that truck was probably the scariest place ever for me. You know, you spend 10 or 12 hours a day on a trash route by yourself. God forbid I didn't have headphones. I spent all day beating myself up with that negative self-talk. You know, spend all day imagining one of the biggest things I was terrified of, which isn't a reality. I was afraid of something that didn't happen. Was something happened to my son?
Mm-hmm.
Spend all day imagining the worst possible scenario with something happening to my son, just like afraid that the last time I saw my son was the last time I saw my son. You know, and what's fear offer? Nothing. It offers absolutely nothing. You know, and I was just making stuff up in my head that was affecting my everyday life. It was affecting my sanity. I was driving myself insane with fake scenarios because I didn't have any control. Now I do.
Yeah, man, you've been, and one thing I gotta say, big honor to you is you've been putting in the work, you know, and it's really impressive to watch guys really show up every day to go, you know what, I'm going to learn how to fight harder. I'm going to learn how to fight more effectively. I'm going to challenge this in different ways. And you've really embodied the Warriors Way mindset in like every way, because you're like, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to go for it, you know, and you really try. And like you come out and you're like, hey, that really fucking worked. And we're like, yeah, pretty good, right? You're like, I'm going to do that again. Like, yeah. It's cool to watch how, like, as much as you're such a leader in your industry, you're also such a humble follower in other spots, and that makes you worthy of leadership. And it's very cool to watch you evolve right in front of us, man. I really give you a lot of praise for that.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I can accept praise too. I couldn't do that before. Now I can say thank you and just mean it, you know?
Yeah, man, it's such a high amount of evolution. We could probably talk all day and just praise you on like how badass you've become from just going through our program and being able to say, I'm going to plug in. And this is also a testament too, if you guys are wondering if this is one of those like pansy programs where just a bunch of sissies get together and just spirit hug each other and shit. Perry, is this that kind of program?
Absolutely not. This is one of those programs that if it doesn't piss you off and make you cry at least once or twice throughout the program, you're not actually trying. There was a couple of times Rick put me on the spot, and he pissed me off, to be honest with you. There was some stuff that we were working on, and he just called me out, and he said what it was, and it was stuff that I was just kind of I was dancing around. He's like, no, we're gonna go through this whether you want to or not. And he pissed me off, to be honest with you. And then we worked through it, and I'm glad that we went through the middle of it, you know. but this isn't something that we're all just singing kumbaya. No, we're throwing hands. You know, whether you box or whether you got a sword, we're throwing hands, we're throwing swords, we're throwing axes. It doesn't matter. We are fighting. This is a battle, and I think it's a battle worth fighting. You know, whatever your battle is, whatever your demon is, whatever your vice is, this can help you. If you're willing to throw hands, you're willing to step up to the plate, you're going to get hit too. It's not just us throwing hands. If the demons punch back, bud. Whoever's listening to this right now, the demons hit back. They will hit you back. They will fight. But the thing is we learn to fight. We don't. If we get knocked down, we get back up. But the thing, we got brothers around us that we get knocked down that pick us right back up. You're like, oh, you took one on my chin right there. Let's stand up and do it again. You know, and you keep on going. There is no quit. If you set your mind to it, there is no quit. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but it's also going to be amazing at the end.
Yeah, man, that's well said too, and that's very cool too. Because like, we don't have one of those groups that would just sit and talk about your feelings. We'll get to it, but first, it's like we got to get rid of that curse that's holding you back. Or we got to go through that battle in your mind that's not even yours. Like, we got to go through those things. And anybody who's ever been through my program, they know, like, Rick will piss you off. Like, that was what they would especially say in the other groups. They're like, no, he's going to piss you off, but it's because it's what you need, not because what you want. But you need to get pushed out of your comfort zone, and you're going to hate it. He's going to do that. And I really do the work with you guys.
That's what we signed up for. We didn't sign up for you to hold our hand the whole way. We signed up for you to pull us through some shit and make us look at stuff that we don't want to look at.
Yeah.
You're going to open that closet door that you've been putting all your crap in. You're going to open it up and you're going to confront all the things that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. Well, that sucks. You're going to do it anyway.
Yep. Hold your shield next to mine like this. Don't let them get through. Remember, you hit it this spot and this spot. Open the door.
Together, we're stronger.
Together, we're stronger.
And that is a fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got into some good battles together, man. It's been pretty awesome. And now people will come and see us and like, dang, you guys will lock shields and kill anything, right? I'm like, we're not afraid of this stuff. We fought these things. So it's pretty awesome, man. It's been really cool to watch you evolve. Like, it's not just watching that physical strongman aspect, but also like that mental strongman aspect. And it's made you 10x stronger.
I'd even say it's connected, man. It really is, because I think that there is a brain muscle connection there, and the fact that I believe I can do the things that I do now, I truly believe in the last year my ability to compete has jumped leaps and bounds. You know, I competed at an expo in June, and I mean it was real giants, man, and we were up there battling the whole way. You know, and at the end of it didn't go my way, but I made them work for it. And before, I wouldn't have believed that I could even step to him, you know. But mentally, I was like, I got this. We're here. We're fighting. Let's go. You know, and that's just, I truly believe that if the mental gains that I've made in here has turned into gains in the gym too.
I like that you're going in there like, listen, even if I'm not winning, you're going to be nervous that I'm there. You ever get those things where you walk up and like people are like, oh shit.
Huh?
Yeah, it feels good, right?
It does. There was one guy who did it here recently. I signed up the last day that you were allowed to sign up, and he texted me and he's like, really, dude, the last day? Like, what can I say? I like to make a dramatic entrance.
All right. Is there anything that you want to share as far as an achievement that you're looking forward to doing? Like, what's one of the goals right now, which I'm hoping within the next time, like we pull up this podcast in a year or whatever, we go, remember when? What is the next target for you?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Warrior, thank you so much for being a part of the information that we have. And you're part of our story as we are a part of yours. It's very much an honor to be able to connect with each other. If you want to know more or you want to get started with working with me or working with our warriors so that you can begin your path to authenticity, strength, leadership, and accountability, this is the way. Together, we are way stronger. Now you get to choose. Do you go forward or keep doing what you've always done? If you stay where you're at, hey, click on some of the stuff and follow what it is. We got motivational stuff. We've got podcasts. We've got more things. Just subscribe and do the stuff, and we'll keep you updated. But if you want to start going in, Start jumping into what our programs offer and start your journey and being the hero in your own story.
Right now, the next target is top 10 excited monsters, like what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But simultaneously, I'm looking to set a new USS log press record.
Yeah.
United States Strongman. They have their own national records, and right now the log press record sets at 450 pounds. And Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I plan on putting about 455 pounds come October.
That's bananas, dude. I gotta say, it's crazy. Like, that's about like right now. If I were to go all in on my squat, and you're gonna pick that up over your head, that's a tough. Like, even to break the 1,000-pound club, like that's a decent deadlift, and you're gonna put it up over your head. That's amazing.
The goal, I'll put it out there right now for anybody who wants to listen to this, just for accountability. The goal on the deadlift, the 18-inch deadlift with an axle, so it's not a deadlift bar, it's just a straight 2-inch bar. The goal is a 1,000-pound deadlift and at least a 450, minimum 400, but I want to set the record 455 log press. So 400 plus log press and a 1,000-pound deadlift come October is the goal.
Man, I'm gonna be cheering you on like crazy for this, and I'm gonna be there for you no matter what. It's gonna be exciting, man.
Hell yeah, man!
It's so cool.
It's gonna be cool to have you and Phil there. It's gonna be cool just to have that support in person. Just to be able to come over and bounce thoughts off you if I need to, especially if that doubt does rear its head. Something doesn't go quite right in the moment, or whatever the 1,000 things can be. I got the man himself right there. We can fight. We can kill that demon right there on the spot and then go back and do it.
Fight him right there, dude. We'll fuck him up. Then you go back and hit your event. I'm right there with you, dude.
Exactly.
Sounds good. That'd be fantastic. I'd be honored to be there for that battle. Very cool. Let's talk about the next phase of how you serve. And this is one thing that's awesome, is not only are you able to accomplish such awesome things, but you have a serving mindset. And I do this, you do this. We're like, how can we help our guys? How can we be there for our men? And right now we have a lot of guys who are struggling, not just the mental side, but also the physical side to it. And because of you, we're actually opening up at this point. And later on, when people are listening, this is going to be like, remember when we started. But we're opening up the fitness side for the Warriors Way of mindset. And you're going to be the head coach. This is going to get guys started all the way from like, I've never worked out before, all the way to like, I want to go as hard as an Olympian. We're going to have the entire spectrum for wherever you're at. We'll have a space for you. And I got to hear, man, how are you excited to be able to get more into the coaching aspect, or even being able to go into being like a teacher of teachers? What does that look like for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to start off with, if a man wants to learn, you got to teach, right? So, I mean, it's going to be a way for me to learn alongside with everybody, but at the same time, I get to give back, What a lot of people don't know is I was a skin in the game guy for you.
Mm-hmm.
You put me through the program. I didn't put me through the program, and I put in the work for you, and it gives me an opportunity to give back to the program that has done so much for me. You and I talked about this here recently, actually. It's kind of turned into more of a, like, a lot of us, you started this, but a lot of us who are transitioning over into the coaching side, we've kind of taken ownership of it because we love it, And I genuinely, I love the Warriors Way. I love the guys in it, and it's going to be really awesome to be able to pour into those guys in the way that I know how to. I can be there for you if you need to talk, but I can also push you in the gym to work and teach you some things that you may not have thought of, or just give you the guidance that you need if you've never touched a weight versus the seasoned guy who just might want someone to hold him accountable. I can do that, and it's going to be really awesome. I'm looking forward to just being able to pour back into the program and pour back into the guys that I attribute to a lot of my success. So I'm really looking forward to that part.
Hell yeah, dude. You're good at it too. So I remember I wanted to hire you for a few months just to like, all right, help me out with my form. And my form, I've been working on for 25 years. I thought I was doing all right. I thought I had this. And you're like, no, man, that's not right. And let me guess, that part right there hurts. And this is probably not, and you're not even bracing. You got to do this. And you try doing that. And like, I had to rework my entire system because I was definitely putting myself into like harm's way. And now I'm in my early 40s and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. You had me restructure my deadlift, my squat, my shoulder press. Like these are all incorrect, and it has been a noticeable difference. So you know your shit, that's for sure.
I mean, and kudos to you in that though. Is you were beyond coachable. Because we had when we did that, we had to take your numbers, the weight that you were doing, way down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right, you were putting yourself at risk to injure yourself, and it was one of those things where, look, let's just go back to the basics. We know that the strength is there, we know that you're strong as shit, but let's do it to where you're safe about it. You were very open to that. You were very receptive, and I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due because a guy that's been lifting for 20 years, you could have looked at me and said, "Nah, dude, I know what I'm doing." But you were very receptive and you listened. So praise and credit to you on that one too.
Well, I had a good coach. Thanks, Perry. All right. So we're gonna go into the next thing where we're gonna teach some guys here. One thing too, I want to go back to. You said you're a skin in the game guy. This is something I don't bring up very often on the podcast, but I want to explain part of the creed for the Warrior's Way. And you can go onto our website and hear the full creed. But one of the parts for the creed is that we have to have our skin in the game, which means we have to be invested in ourselves or committed. On some guys that may be financial, some guys that may be volunteer, but there's nobody above creed in the entire Warrior's Way, and this is for all of the different pieces. So you guys can check out what the creed is. There's 7 rules that we have for the Warrior's Way, but check out like the creed and what we stand for and see if you agree with that. But one of them is that you have to put in. You have to, those who pay attention, and they have to be committed to their own growth. And I do the same thing. And so every single group, there's one guy who cannot afford it, who deserves it. And I go through all of the phone calls and I decide which guy is going to be the one guy that I put my skin in the game. And that's who I pay for his training. And in the group that you had, you were my skin in the game guy. You're the one like, I believe in you and I'm going to pay for your way. And so this is a cool way that none of us are above creed, even myself. And I made sure I put in for you, and it's cool for you to go, well, my skin in the game is going to be given back. And you're like, I'm going to be volunteering to help out the guys in the group because each of us has a role to play in the Warrior's Way because, together we're stronger. And so it's exciting for you to be that guy who I believe in you. And now you're like, well, now I can pay it forward and help other guys believe in themselves too.
Absolutely. 100%. This program's changed my life. So the least I can do is try to help some guys out in the process. Right.
Hell yeah, dude.
Pay it forward, bring some guys with me.
Hell yeah. Super proud of that. All right. So, brother, if you could just encourage anybody to do something, what is some stuff, if you're like, here's some life lesson stuff I want to bring up, or what's some stuff on your mind that's been like, man, what I want to share with people that if I could send my message out, what would your thoughts be on the spot?
I kind of touched on it earlier, but this has been a big thing for me is be more intentional about being present in the moment. It's easy. Everyone talks about how time flies. I had a conversation with somebody about today about how 2023 has just flown by, and I think that we miss a lot of things until we look back and we regret not enjoying it in the moment. And we look back and we don't appreciate what it was until it's a memory. And so, I mean, I really would encourage anybody who's listening to this just to be intentional about your day. Your kid comes up and wants you to look at this thing, or your wife comes up and wants you to, talk to her about this, that, or the other. Just whoever's important to you or whatever is important to you in your life, make sure you're paying attention to that stuff in the moment. That way you don't look back on it and regret it as a memory because you didn't pay attention to it when it was happening. I think a lot of us can look back on certain times in our life that we wish we would have appreciated what we were doing or what was going on in the moment versus just looking at the memory, So that would be my encouragement to anybody is be intentional about being in the moment.
Hell yeah, dude. Well said. Well said. Well, Perry Redmon, I wanted to do this for sure to showcase not you only and what you're about to be doing, but on your journey so far. And there's a lot more I want to be able to showcase, but I want to just say how much I appreciate you being on the journey with me and with our warriors and with the guys who you're going to be helping soon who are listening to this right now. Reach out to Perry, and you can actually hire Perry to be your coach. And as one of his previous clients, he will give you improvement. I don't care what level you're at. I had 25 years of lifting, and it was definitely able to be improved. And so Perry is the real deal. And by this point, when you guys are hiring him, he's going to be top 10 in the world.
I would like to just go ahead and attribute, because I feel like some people I might know by listening to this. I attribute to that, the ability to be able to do that, to the people that are around me. You know, my coaches and the mentors that I have in the strength sports around me, you included. And it'll be a privilege to be that for somebody else, be able to pass on the knowledge that's been passed to me, as far as, you know, the ability to pick up heavy things and put them back down, you know.
Hell yeah.
It would be a privilege to work with anybody to pass that on.
Let's do it. Well, we got more to do, more to go through. So if anybody here, hit the things that make it so that you can reach out to Perry. He is worth the money, worth the time, and he will go all in for you. Otherwise, come into the Warriors Way if you want some time with Perry, because he's going to be the head coach for our guys, and which case you guys can reach into the links that we have here and spend some time with the man, the myth, and the legend, Perry Redmon. And we're going to do a lot more together. I'm going to have to do some more time with you. Okay, bud?
Absolutely.
All right.
Win.
Thanks for hanging out with me, man. This was really cool.
And thanks for having me, buddy. I appreciate it.
Click on the button and you can become the hero in your own story. It's time to start making the choices to change. And the evolution that you're going to do begins with choosing the next step. This is the way. And together, we're always stronger.